What up, America? What up, world? Welcome to a Better Black America podcast, the number one urban podcast stateside and worldwide. Now, today is Thursday, May 19th, 2022. Now, lying Biden, I'm just going to kick it off. We ain't playing no more. We're done. We're not only done with the Democratic Party, we're done because of the lies and the deceit. And this is something that has to be done because we have to figure out what our next move, what our next maneuverment is going to be. Now, there was a leaked draft that came out of the Supreme Court for the first time in American history. And not only is there not a Democratic elected official having an issue with the leak, because we've had Watergate and we've had so many scandals and corruptions and quid pro quos and all of these things, but silence on the Democratic side, because the Democratic side is in full offensive Monty and they're not defensive. When you go full Monty offensively, you leave your tail end open. And when your tail end is open, there's ways to escape through the tail end, and there's ways to get in through the tail end of the party. It's like a train. The train is on a track that is so disruptive. It appears that it's not, and we're not delusional. We can trust our eyes. These are not magicians or ventriloquists or anything. We see what we see, but for some strange reason, we're conditioned to just accept the unacceptable. And this is what they're playing on, but they messed up because the baby booming generation is expiring. Okay. It's just a natural progression. Now, as the baby boomers generation expire and all other generation loses people on a daily basis. I'm not saying that other generations don't perish, but I'm saying in terms of timing. Now, and as that expiration date is coming, you can see how our elderly elected or selected officials or selected rulers or democratic rule, how they all are hook, line, and sinker on protecting the status quo, staying, maintaining the power that they have. But Black America is so clear and united. We truly and now understand that we can no longer continue if we don't change course. We can't continue. Now, we're not running to be Republicans. We have to deal with who we're dealing with right now. We have to loose the stronghold that the Democratic rule have over, Black Americans. This is an opportunity. Build and destroy, build back better. We are sitting right here, have to make a decision. Are we going to build, or are we going to sit back on the sidelines and allow our culture, allow our community, allow our people to be destroyed? When are we going to participate in the building? But the only way we can participate building the community is to reject destruction. The Democratic Party is a destructive demolition party and look at Black Americans as a liability. And if we were just regular humans looking for a spouse, do you want to be married to a liability, or do you want to be married to an asset? Or do you want to be the liability or the asset? And this is where Black America is, where we are right now. We are an asset to this country, but we're treated like liabilities. So now we cannot be the liabilities no more because we're smart enough and we know enough to do what we need to do because the data's there. One thing when it comes to relationships, I'm sure the top 3 issue when it comes to relationship is honesty. Trust and love and honesty. It's hard to be with somebody that doesn't love you enough to tell you the truth. It has to be tough to be with someone that will lie to you straight to your face. And you know that they're lying and you continue to go with lie. And this is why we have issue. This is why we have issue. Because it's not looking like lies anymore. It's beyond deceit. It's beyond deception. We just getting played. They look at us like liabilities, and they made sure that it was a slavery clause in the Constitution to make sure that hundreds of years later they could continue to treat us like liabilities. The whole science is predicated on the oppressed people to figure it out for themselves. Because we're living in 2022 and we just dealt with another racial situation in Buffalo, New York. President Joe Biden signed a Emmett Till anti-lynching bill on March 29th of 2022, and it had nothing to do with mass shootings. He just put on record a racist bill named after Emmett Till and Mr. Willie Lynch himself, and signed that bill into law in 2022 and reminded us and put in the forefront of slavery and democratic rule passed. And when I say democratic rule passed, because the word democrat means to rule in the Greek, and demo, D-E-M-O, is demon, devil, and or diablo. It's Portuguese and in Latin. So when I say demonic rule, I'm not lying to you. We just have enough heart and courage to actually speak the truth and call it for what it is. Now, we're not running to the Democratic Party, but we are standing our ground and standing still because we support, the Republic. Because to the Republic for which it stands, one nation under God. We're not going to be caught in between the rivaling tribes, because how can you build and destroy at the same time? It's a continuous destruction. And as we try to build within, it never gets back better. Look at it. Build back better. Nothing happens by accident. So now we got an opportunity to see these things in plain sight. And I mentioned that we're done with demonic rule and, more importantly, Joe Biden, because the lies and deceit has gone too far and there is no way we could continue. We have to sit back and look at the liberals activate over a leaked draft and protest, and then come to find out there's a mass shooting, of the black kind in New York, a straight racist hate situation. And then now we forgot about the protesting. You see how now we're discombobulated in disarray because they activated the liberals last week, to go out there and protest this leak. And then all of a sudden now there's a shooting, but nobody's running to Buffalo, New York to protest anything. Because racism is real. No such thing as critical race theory. Joe Biden killed that. Rest in peace. It's critical race facts, critical race systems, and more importantly, critical race science. And Joe Biden says it himself, follow the science, and nothing happens by accident. So this is what the issue is. And like I said, we're done with Biden because we no longer can continue to embrace the lies. Our silence is not golden. Our silence is stupidity. And I'm keeping it 100 with you. Our silence is stupidity. Lying Biden. We know politicians lie. We know politicians are manipulative. We know what goes on. We do. But sometimes you have to draw the line in the sand. Like, you know what? We're not going to accept this anymore because it's gone too far. Lying to our face. I remember that song, It Wasn't Me. And then eventually, or the joke when you get caught cheating, just keep saying it wasn't me. And then eventually the person loves you so much and don't even want to believe the truth. They'll sit back and say, well, maybe it wasn't you. This is manipulation and control. Nobody thought in 2022 we'll be sitting back under Democratic rule. No one thought that, especially after the Civil War, especially after the disbursements of the Freedmen's Banks Bureau, especially after Reconstruction. But then we go back and say, wow, nothing changed. And there's a criminalization clause in that Constitution that will always be the same because there's no entity until now that is actually fighting for racial equity. Now, gender equity is a thing. The U.S. Olympic team going to split the proceeds between men and women. And that's a good thing because the women's soccer players wasn't getting any money because of the advertisement and what they brought in. But the United States Olympic Committee or the United States Soccer decided, you know what, we're going to do profit sharing. Regardless if they could generate these dollars, they still professional soccer players and they're playing for America. So as USA Soccer, we're going to pay everybody their salaries as well as some type of stipend because it's not right. That's what you call gender equity. Title IX, when it was baseball playing, no girls sports in these colleges, it was Title IX. Some teams and programs lost programs to implement female sports. That's gender equity. But racial equity has not been addressed until now. I'm going to say that again. Racial equity has not been addressed until now because the 64 Civil Rights Acts, that was a setup because the Constitution is, the framers framed blacks in the Constitution here in these Americas. And this is why women lives movement, grew fast. This is why the gay movement moved fast. This is why the LGBTQ movement moved fast, the immigrants. But then we still have a black situation and a problem because of the Constitution. And we have a president that black America is done. Now, we have this mass shooting, and this is the reason. I'm going to go ahead and reset the room. What up, America? Welcome to a Better Black America podcast, the #1 urban podcast stateside and worldwide. I'm your man, Bushan Glover, and today is Thursday, May 19th, 2020. Now, the reason and the motivation for today's podcast, Lion Biden. I saw something over the weekend, and they said his presidency was like the weekend at Bernie's. But right now, America, Black America, is no longer a stronghold in the Democratic Party. Joe Biden has lost his good economic. Joe Biden has ruined Democratic rule because he cannot cover it up. He is not charismatic. He can't even play us. Now, if Bill Clinton had policies and things going on in his administration, we didn't know because of the connectability, but Biden can't connect. Biden is out there dealing with elderly abuse. He's seeing ghosts. I seen one situation where he tried to shake somebody's hands at North Carolina A&T, and he was the only one on stage. And he paused for a minute. And I said back and I said, he's probably being haunted by slavery past, because it's crazy how the devil know how to perfectly set up God's people for his greatest and biggest blessing. Now, this right here is a 2021 shock and awe, 2022 shock and awe, 2022 Big Bang Theory. You could call it what you want. But right now, Black America, and I'm going to say this again, we are not only done with Joe Biden and Democratic rule, we're done. And when I say done, meaning it's a burrito. You can wrap it up. It's a wrap, baby. It's over because of the lies. Because listen, got me stumbling because I'm excited. Listen, Joe Biden was selected to be the president of the United Allies by powers, principalities, and evildoers in high places, and there's just a few of them. Now, on the Republican side, Trump is the face of that. You see him, but Trump is against, groups and countries. Finland and another countries is putting their application for NATO. Whole lot going on, but we'll tackle that another day. But the Democratic Party has lost